The result was some of the most compelling storytelling YNR has delivered in recent months. Perhaps the most powerful scenes came when Matt began confronting the possibility that his greatest enemy wasn't Victor Newman, wasn't an old rival, and wasn't a hidden threat from the past. It was himself. Those moments allowed Roger Howarth to showcase the full range of his talent. Fear, confusion, anger, regret, and determination all collided within a single storyline. The actor never relied on over-the-top theatrics. Instead, he grounded every emotion in authenticity. Viewers could feel Matt's panic. They could see the terror building as pieces of the puzzle started falling into place. Most importantly, they could understand why the character was terrified of discovering the truth. Because what if the answers revealed something he wasn't prepared to face? That question drove much of May's narrative momentum. Every new clue brought fresh uncertainty. Every revelation seemed to create more questions than answers. Through it all, Howarth maintained a delicate balance that kept audiences invested. Matt wasn't simply trying to solve a mystery. He was trying to determine whether he could live with the outcome. The emotional stakes couldn't have been higher. Meanwhile, interactions with Genoa City's power players only amplified the tension. Whether sharing scenes with Victor, Nick, Phyllis, or other major players, Howarth ensured Matt never felt overshadowed. Instead, he emerged as a character capable of commanding attention regardless of who occupied the scene with him. That's the mark of a truly great soap performer. They don't just react to the story. They become the story. By the end of May, fans were still debating Matt Clark's motivations, his future, and the secrets he might be hiding. Few characters generated as much discussion. Even fewer actors managed to create such intense audience engagement. Roger Howarth accomplished both. His performance elevated every storyline he touched. It added layers to scenes that might otherwise have been straightforward. It transformed uncertainty into suspense and suspense into must-watch television. For that reason, Soap Hub's recognition feels less like a surprise and more like an acknowledgement of what viewers had already been saying throughout the month. Roger Howarth didn't simply play Matt Clark. He became Matt Clark. And in doing so, he delivered a performance so nuanced, so emotionally rich, and so psychologically gripping that audiences weren't just afraid of what Matt might do next. They were afraid of what Matt might discover about himself. That fear became the heartbeat of the story. And it was impossible to look away. Hello friends, welcome to YR Today. On this channel, we regularly share the latest news and spoilers from American TV shows. So, let's get into today's important update. Soap Hub's YNR Performer of the Month for May, Roger Howarth made Matt Clark fear himself. Roger Howarth delivered some of May's most emotional scenes as Matt Clark faced the horrifying truth about his past. Photo credit, JPI Studios. Roger Howarth is Soap Hub's YNR Performer of the Month for May. Throughout the month, the young and the restless star transformed Matt Clark from a feared villain into one of Genoa City's most complex characters, making viewers question whether a man without his memories could ever escape the damage of his past. Matt Clark became a stranger to himself. Matt wasn't trying to convince anyone that he was a good man. Throughout May, he was simply trying to understand why so many people viewed him as a monster. As Sharon Case, Nick, Joshua Morrow, Noah, Lucas Adams, and Sienna, Tamara Braun, described the damage he had caused, Matt was forced to learn about his past through the eyes of the people he had hurt. Howarth played those scenes with confusion and unease rather than self-pity, making the character far more interesting than a standard amnesiac. The audience knew exactly what Matt had done. Matt didn't. That disconnect created tension in nearly every scene and turned a familiar soap device into something much more emotionally grounded. Howarth found humanity without erasing Matt's crimes. The strongest part of Howarth's performance was his refusal to make Matt instantly likable. Even when Matt showed vulnerability, the story never forgot the destruction he had left behind. Every conversation carried the weight of his past. Matt wanted answers, but the people around him were still living with the consequences of his actions. That made it impossible for viewers to distinguish the man standing before them from the man everyone remembered. Howarth walked a difficult line throughout the month. He made Matt sympathetic without pretending he was innocent, and that balance kept the storyline from becoming predictable. Why Matt Clark became one of YNR's most fascinating characters. By the end of May, Matt had evolved from a straightforward villain into one of the show's most complicated characters. His growing horror as he learned more about himself, his connection with Phyllis, Michelle Stafford, and his role in Nick's, Joshua Morrow, crisis added layers that weren't there before. The storyline succeeded because Howarth committed fully to Matt's uncertainty. Rather than playing the character as redeemed, he portrayed a man struggling to understand whether the darkness everyone described was really part of him. When viewers spent May debating whether Matt had truly changed, it wasn't because the story demanded it. It was because Howarth made the question impossible to ignore. That's why he's Soap Hub's YNR Performer of the Month for May. There are performances that entertain viewers, and then there are performances that completely transform a character into someone audiences cannot stop talking about. During the month of May on The Young and the Restless, Roger Howarth delivered exactly that kind of unforgettable work. His portrayal of Matt Clark didn't just make viewers fear what the character might do next, it made Matt Clark fear himself. In a month packed with shocking revelations, emotional confrontations, and dangerous secrets, Howarth stood at the center of the storm. Every scene carried an unpredictable energy. Every conversation felt loaded with tension. And every glance suggested that Matt was battling demons that even he couldn't fully understand. That's precisely why Soap Hub's Performer of the Month honor feels so well deserved. From the moment Matt Clark re-emerged in Genoa City, questions surrounded him. Was he a victim of circumstance? A misunderstood outsider? Or was there something far darker lurking beneath the surface? Roger Howarth managed to make all three possibilities feel true at the same time. What made the performance remarkable wasn't simply the mystery surrounding Matt. It was the internal struggle that played out behind his eyes. Viewers watched a man desperately trying to maintain control while slowly realizing that control might already be slipping away. The brilliance of Howarth's work came during the quieter moments. Many actors can deliver explosive confrontations. Many can handle dramatic monologues. But Howarth excelled in the silences. A hesitation before answering a question. A nervous glance across a crowded room. A sudden shift in expression when an old memory resurfaced. Those subtle choices transformed Matt from a standard soap mystery character into one of Genoa City's most fascinating figures. As the weeks unfolded, Matt became increasingly haunted by his own actions and suspicions. The possibility that he might be connected to events he couldn't fully remember created a psychological battle that captivated viewers. Instead of portraying Matt as either completely innocent or completely guilty, Howarth chose a more challenging path. He portrayed a man trapped between certainty and doubt. That uncertainty became contagious. Fans found themselves questioning everything. One episode would make Matt seem sympathetic and vulnerable. The next would leave viewers wondering if he was hiding something terrible. The emotional whiplash wasn't a flaw, it was the point. Matt himself didn't know which version of reality he could trust.